3 verses. That's all. 3 verses, and Hazrat Imam Shafi'i said that it is enough to guide all of mankind. But today, I want to show you one word inside those 3 verses that predicted exactly what is happening in the Middle East right now, written nearly 100 years ago. So stay with me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I want to open up today with a surah that is 3 verses long, yet so dense in divine meaning that Imam Shafi'i, one of the greatest minds in Islamic history, once said, if Allah had revealed nothing from the Quran except this surah, it would have been sufficient for the guidance of mankind. Sufficient for all of mankind. Just 3 verses. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal Asr. Innal insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati. Wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. By the fleeting time, surely man is in a state of loss, except those who believe and do good works, and exhort one another to truth, and exhort one another to steadfastness. I want you to focus on just one word today, insan. Allah in these verses does not say the disbelievers are in loss. He doesn't say the sinner is in loss. He says insan, man, humanity itself. Why? Because the deepest danger is not always a person who denies God. Sometimes the deepest danger is a civilization that redefines what a human being actually is. Now, most of us have read the word dehumanization. We know what it means on the surface, but I want you to understand what it actually does psychologically. Because when you understand the mechanism, the tafsir I'm about to share will hit you in a completely different way. In the 1960s, a psychologist at Stanford named Albert Bandura ran a series of experiments that disturbed the academic world. He found that ordinary people, not monsters, not criminals, just ordinary people, would administer significantly higher levels of pain to others the moment those others were referred to, even casually, as animals. Just one word. That's all it took. Later, Philip Zimbardo, the man behind the famous Stanford prison experiment, spent decades studying how good people commit evil acts. His conclusion? It almost always begins with language. You call a group subhuman and call them insects. You call them vermin, a threat to civilization. And once that language takes hold, once the mind accepts that the other is somehow less than human, the moral breaks. The internal voice that says this is wrong stops working. This is not ancient history. In Rwanda, before the 1994 atrocities, Tutsis were called Inyanzi on national radio, meaning cockroaches, for months before a single act of mass violence ever occurred. In Nazi Germany, Jewish people were systemically portrayed in state propaganda as rats and parasites for years before the camps were built. In Bosnia, Serbian state media called Bosnian Muslims Turks and fundamentalists, stripping them of their European identity before Srebrenica. You see the pattern? The language always comes before the violence. The courtroom of public opinion is prepared first. The world is made to feel, or at least doubt, whether the victims were really one of us, whether their lives carry the same weight, whether their children's tears counted as much. And here's what makes this so insidious, so dangerous. It doesn't require hatred. It only requires indifference. You don't have to hate the child in the rubble. You just have to be convinced, subtly, systemically, over years of media and political language, that their suffering is somehow in a different category. This is dehumanization. Not always loud, not always obvious. Sometimes it wears a suit. Sometimes it sits behind a podium. Sometimes it writes op-eds about collateral damage and military necessity. Now here's what is extraordinary. Before Bandura published his research, before Zimbardo ran his experiments, before any Western university began studying the psychology of systemic dehumanization, Hazrat Mirza Bashir-ud-Din Mahmud Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih II, Raziallahu anh, in his monumental Tafsir-e-Kabir, or the Grand Exegesis, had already identified this exact mechanism. Not in a psychology paper, but in his commentary on one word of the Holy Quran. And what he wrote reads less like a commentary and more like a prophecy. He writes, "In this era too, there exist nations who think that they alone are human. Hence, when they use the word humanitarian, what they mean is that the people of Europe should not be harsh towards the people of Europe, or that the people of America should not be harsh toward the people of America. Beyond that, it carries no other meaning for them." He continues, "So Allah says, the time will come again when one class of the world, considering itself to be human, will declare the rest of the world to be contemptible." My brothers and sisters, he wrote this nearly a century ago. Bandura needed a laboratory. Zimbardo needed experiments. Hazrat Mahmud needed one word of the Holy Quran. And we are living inside this word of the Holy Quran today. Look at Palestine, an entire people subjected to systemic, devastating destruction. Families displaced, children left without shelter, without food, without a future. And the nations that authored the Geneva Convention, that built the United Nations, that gave speeches at The Hague about human dignity, sat in their leather chairs, raised their hands, and vetoed ceasefire after ceasefire. And the suffering did not stop there. As if the wounds of Gaza were not enough, the flames have now spread further. A terrifying new military escalation has been launched across the region. Major powers have now carried out large-scale strikes against Iran. The entire Middle East stands at the edge of an unprecedented crisis. How does a human being watch children go without food, watch entire nations suffer, watch children being killed in primary school, and call it geopolitics or cost of war? Because their definition of insan, of who qualifies as human, does not include the child in Gaza or the girl in a primary school. It does not include the people of Iran. Their rules-based international order, their humanitarian infrastructure, their human rights institutions was never designed for everyone. It was designed for them. This isn't politics. This is the Holy Quran and its tafsir being given by Hazrat al-Muslim playing out in real time. But here is where Allah intervenes. He does not begin this surah with a command. He does not begin it with a warning. He begins with an oath. Wal-Asr, by time itself, by the sweep of history, by the very epoch we are living in right now. Allah, the master of time, is taking a stand as a witness. Hazrat al-Muslim explains this verdict. These very people who declare themselves to be human and exclude others from the circle of humanity are rushing along the path of ruin and destruction. Their aircraft carriers, their veto powers, their entire military and political arsenal, none of it changes the testimony of the Lord of the heavens and the earth. They are in khusr, terminal loss. Now, I need you to hear this clearly. We are not a people of despair. Yes, the world is suffering. Yes, it breaks our heart. Yes, the darkness is real. But the Quran does not end at lafi khusr. It gives us the exception. It gives us the door out. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. 4 prescription, 1 cure. Amanu, believe. Not intellectually, existentially. Our beloved Hazur, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis Sayyidullah Ta'ala ibn Aziz, has reminded us again and again, worldly superpowers are not gods. There is only one real superpower, and he is the Al-Qahar, the subduer of all. When you stand in tahajjud tonight, in the darkness, your forehead on the ground, your heart broken for the oppressed, know that you are accessing a power that no military force on earth can match. The promised Messiah ﷺ said, "My weapon is prayer." Do not underestimate a tear that falls in the night. It reaches a place no satellite can detect. The Arsh, the throne of the living God. 2. Amilus Salihat, act with excellence. The world's humanitarian label is selective and exclusionary. Ours and our humanity is universal. Love for all and hatred for none. It's not just a slogan. It is not a bumper sticker. It is Amilus Salihat in action. Serve everyone, stand for everyone. Be the living refutation of the lie that humanity is selective. 3. Tawasaw bil haqq, speak the truth without fear. On the global stage, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis Sayyidullah Ta'ala ibn Aziz has been a lone, fearless voice for decades, for over 15 years, writing to heads of states, warning of exactly this destruction before it arrived.
For 2 decades, His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Ahmad urged world leaders to adopt justice to avert a global catastrophe.
The world is apparently rapidly advancing towards destruction because of the envy and hatred that its people have in their hearts. Economic and trade sanctions are imposed against those countries that do not follow or toe the line. We see that many small as well as large countries possess atom bombs.
This warning was delivered to global leaders and world parliaments.
In fact, we have seen that the veto power has on certain occasions been misused to help and assist in cruelty rather than to prevent it. The natural resources of any country should not be taken advantage of. The path the world is treading will culminate in a terrifying world war.
For 2 decades, those warnings were disregarded.
Though we have long preached this message, it seems to have fallen upon deaf ears.
We must be the amplifiers of that voice. Your platform, your conversations, your presence at universities and interfaith forums. Speak with knowledge, speak with grace, speak without apology, and speak the words of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. 4. Tawasaw bis sabr. Be resilient. Sabr is not passive resignation. It is resilience, the capacity to hold your spiritual equilibrium. When the world has gone mad, stay grounded. Stay connected to Allah. Stay connected to Khilafat. This storm will pass. The dawn is coming. My dear brothers and sisters, as you fast today, as the hunger tightens in your chest, let that sensation travel. Let it travel to the children in conflict zones who are not fasting by choice, but by deprivation. Let your hunger be your connection to them. And let that connection fuel not despair, but determination. The civilization that declared itself the sole guardian of humanity has been weighed by the Lord of time and found wanting. But we, the ones who believe, who serve, who speak the truth, who endure, we are the exception Allah carved out of this verse. Let us be worthy of that exception, asking Allah to forgive us, to cover our faults, to forgive this wounded world, and to hasten the dawn of true justice, of uniting the Ummah, the justice that only we can deliver, inshallah. Ameen, summa ameen. Until the next video, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.